This is a makeup tutorial for competition day makeup. Prepping your face is important because it's going to make the foundation for a long-lasting makeup look that's going to get you from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. So I'm going to be using these two things, and this is Elizabeth Arden, and it is just a simple face lotion because I have very dry and normal skin. Do a little pump and just put that on my face. The e.l.f. C Putty Primer, and this is going to kind of help fill in some of those pores and give you a very, very smooth foundation for your makeup to go on top of. Another thing I like to do is mixing in some e.l.f. tanning drops to my base because I am very pale in the winter and I want my skin to be tanner than usual on stage. So we're gonna be mixing just like a little pump. I'm gonna mix that around on my finger, and I'm mixing this with just some normal face lotion and putting that right on top. And this is gonna give my skin a more natural tan underneath the foundation we're gonna be putting on top, just to sort of paint that onto my face. Make sure you are getting behind your ears and all the way down your neck, especially if you are wearing a bun wig, because you do not want to have a dark face and then a white pasty neck. Next up, we have foundation. You want your foundation to be 2 to 3 shades darker than your normal skin. As you can see, this is not my skin tone, but this is my Feis Day foundation. And this is full coverage. You want a full coverage foundation so that you have a dark face to match your tanned legs. I'm gonna do 2 or 3 pumps of that. At this point, you should be looking a little crazy, okay? Because your face is gonna be very, very dark compared to the rest of your body. Next up is gonna be concealer. You want this to be your natural concealer color, and it's gonna be lighter than your foundation color. And we're just gonna use a beauty blender and pat that in underneath the eyes. I also like to go on the eyelids, sort of as a primer for when we get to eyeshadow. A couple other spots you wanna put some concealer, and we call it the T-zone. So right here, I'm gonna do a little dot, and then I'm also gonna put some right here and right there. I'm using the Born This Way Too Faced concealer. This one a little bit goes a long way. If you are using like an e.l.f. or a Maybelline, you might need to use more product than just a little dab. And you kind of just, again, like this little triangle zone right there, you want to brighten that up. Also like to bring it down sort of the bridge of my nose thinly, and sort of just get like that very top part of the bridge of my nose. Next up is contour. For this step, you just want to make sure that you are using like a cream or a liquid based contour, because again, we are going for full coverage. I'm going to be using the Tarte Stick cream, and all I do is put a generous circle on my hand, and I'm going to be using this angled brush, also from Tarte, and you sort of dab the product onto the bristles, and you want to go in the parts where you do the fishy face, and you kind of follow that line for guidance. You want it to be right in that area. You pull it up on the side of my hairline and go all the way up around the face. So it's kind of like a darken up sort of this area of my face as well. Any remaining contour, I'm kind of just gonna bronze up my nose and a little bit on my cheekbones. Now we're gonna go in with some liquid blush. I'm using the Tarte Stick. A couple dots there, and I do one on my nose. You can use a beauty blender, a brush, your finger. As long as you just blend it out and kind of get your cheekbones and a little bit on your nose, you'll be good. When I smile, I want that blush to kind of be in that area. Now this is a personal preference. I like to sort of take whatever excess is on my brush and do a little bit of a dab right above my eyebrows, just in that area, kind of to put some rosiness back into my full face. I'm using an eyebrow pencil, but if you don't have one, you can also use a tiny angled brush like this and use a darker eyeshadow from your palette. So I would probably use this dark brown or this black, since I'm wearing a black wig, and you just draw your eyebrows on. I'm gonna use an eyebrow pencil for this time though. I don't do anything too crazy here. I just fill in my natural brow. I find that putting a powder over the wet products really helps it stay in place all day. That way you don't have to do a lot of touch-ups throughout the day. I'm gonna do the powder blush. I'm gonna be using setting powder or one of these little dabby sponges. Just do a little bit. Since I have very hooded eyes, which means when I open my eyes, you can't really see a lot of my eyelids, I don't do eyeliner on my top. I only do it on the bottom. So I just sort of follow the waterline. Not too thick, but enough just to sort of give it that pop. You can see the difference already. And I will be putting on false eyelashes for this because this is gonna be like a Rockdis Nationals Worlds type makeup. For a normal fesh, if you're not comfortable putting on eyelashes, you can just do mascara. But I'm also gonna follow the waterline on the top of my eyelids. This took a little bit of practice. You do not have to do this step. This is just what I prefer on my eye shape. Personally, I prefer to do my eyelashes before I do my eyeshadow. If you would rather do your eyeshadow first, then put your lashes or mascara on, you can do that step. But I'm gonna be using just some lashes that I got at Target. I think these are the Ardeline lashes. I'll link them in my Amazon storefront. And this is the best lash glue, I swear by it. It is the Duo Green Lash Glue. It looks like this. I've been using this one for years, and you just paint a very thin layer on the edge of the lashes. You want to be generous, but you don't want it to be too much where it's like bubbling over. Let that dry for about 30 seconds to a minute so it gets tacky before you put it on your eyelids. For lashes, you can either use tweezers or your fingers, whichever one feels more comfortable. You want the longer side of the lashes to be on the outside of your eyelid. And you just kind of place that right on top of your lash line. You gotta mess around with it a little bit. And this does take practice. The first time I ever did lashes, I think I had a mental breakdown. If you need help, find an older dancer or someone who can help you with this step. Your mom, your parent, your teacher, an older dancer. But you just want it to be as close to your eyelashes as possible. Both of those dry on my eyelids. This step is optional, but I like to use an eyelash curler just to sort of combine the fake lashes with my normal lashes and give them a really nice curl. I got this eyelash curler from the Dollar Tree. You don't need a super fancy one. You just need one that's gonna curl your lashes. Okay, For eyeshadow, you're gonna need two different kinds of brushes. This one is a more fluffy brush, and this one is more of a condensed, thicker brush. We're gonna start with the fluffy brush, and I'm using the Bare Necessities Color Pop palette. So I'm gonna be doing a mix of this darker brown, a little bit of this gloss, and then a tiny bit of that one. So we're kind of mixing colors, but as you can see, they're all sort of within that beige, darker brown, nude color. You do not need to use an eyeshadow color that is the same as your dress. Please do not put on green, blue, purple eyeshadow. We are going for a natural, gorgeous look. So with that brown, I'm gonna kind of fluffy brush, make some circles on the outer end of my eyelid. Like that. So I do very small circles and then kind of follow the top crease of my eye. Leave like this lower part and inner part of your eyelid open because that's where we're gonna be putting the brighter and shimmer color. If it sort of starts to fall down and kind of gives you that droopy eye look, I just take a beauty blender and sort of drag that up to catch sort of that fallen eyeshadow so that it's giving sort of an upwards motion. To be going in with this glitter gold right here, and you kind of want to pack that into the brush, and I'm going to mix it with those colors. And with this, you just want to pat it right on to that inner part of your eyelid and go right on the inner corner as well. I'm gonna go too high up, sort of just where your eyeball is and on the inside. This is gonna give your eyes like a very open look and make it pop on stage. And then just patting it on the eyelid. Now for lips, again, this color is gonna vary based on your dress, sort of just this darker pink. And again, this is optional, but I like to line my lips first with a liner pencil, just to sort of give myself a frame of what I'm working with on my lips. Then you want to go in with your lipstick or lip gloss. This is going to be the one product that you're going to have to reapply before each round. And a trick I learned that way you won't get it on your teeth is to go like this. And that way it kind of gets any excess that might have gone on the inside of your lips, so you don't get any on your teeth when you smile. So the last and final step is to set all of your makeup in place with a setting spray. I am using the Milk Hydro Set, and I'm gonna be very generous when I spritz my face with this. So. That is going to lock everything in place. To recap, you want to prime your face as best as possible and hydrate it before you go in with a darker foundation, and then you do the liquid steps, which is contour, concealer, and blush. And then to set that in place, you want to do the powder steps, again, contour, concealer, and blush with the powder products, lashes, eyebrows, eyeshadow, lips, set it all in place. I'm going to be linking all of the products that I recommend on my Amazon storefront. I will make sure to include different price ranges for each of the steps so that you can have sort of options to choose from. Another thing to remember is it's not going to be perfect on your first try. Remember, I was a competitive dancer for 20 plus years, so I've been doing this a long time, and my steps have changed over time. It's going to take practice. It's not going to look the best the very first time you do it, but the more times you practice and you try, it's gonna get better and you're gonna feel more confident about it. Another thing to note is that everyone has very different skin textures. I have very dry to normal skin, so these are the products that work best on my face. So this is the final look in natural lighting. I really hope this helps, and if you guys have any questions, just shoot me a text or call me.